Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com.
During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk just a little bit about insect life cycles. What I find most interesting about this overall is just that insects will have different forms at different times of the year, and they can actually feed on our crops out in the field in different ways. So we just wanted to explain that a little bit today.
Well, when we think about crops, their one goal in the year, or weeds for that example, is to produce seed so that they can live the next year. Well, the same thing is true with bugs. So you may see some bugs out there right now, but are they going to lay eggs? Are they going to overwinter somehow so they could impact next year's crop? So the damage may already be done for this year. And let's just give you a few examples. Corn rootworm. When we think about corn rootworm larvae chewing on the roots of corn, well, that gets every farmer excited. But when you see these kind of harmless looking little beetles that may do just a little bit of feeding but generally aren't a big problem later in the season, you think, well, that's no big deal, I don't have to worry about that. But those corn rootworm beetles are going to lay eggs in the field, and next year those eggs can hatch, attack next year's corn crop, and you can have some big problems. So you may see something that looks pretty harmless now, it could be a big problem next year.
Okay, Darren just gave you the example of the youth or larvae stage versus the adult or beetle stage of one particular insect. Well, when you think about beetles, they can't fly very far, can't move very far, or anything else. So typically when we have a corn rootworm issue, that's usually an isolated problem. So if it's in one field, how far can it really move? It could spread out just a little bit to some neighboring fields. That's probably about it. A different insect that I think about, from actually one of the first ones I was ever familiar with, was black cutworm. And what happens with black cutworm, the adult stage is a moth. So moths, they can move in some cases hundreds of miles, if not even thousands of miles. And so all of a sudden you say, oh, we've never had that problem around here before, and the moths fly in, they lay eggs, then there are worms that will go out and feed in your field. So it all depends on what that adult stage is in terms of how far can the insect really move.
All right, Brian, I'll give one more example here. There's a pretty little butterfly that sometimes you see. Wow, it's this painted lady butterfly. It almost looks a little bit like a monarch, and you think, oh, that's just really nice. I love these butterflies. No, I don't love these butterflies because another life cycle, or another part of their life cycle, is to be the thistle caterpillar. And thistle caterpillars make a huge mess and can do defoliation to your crop. I don't like thistle caterpillars at all. So now, if I see those beautiful painted lady butterflies, I'm upset and I want them out of my field.
Okay, so as a farmer, our job, and quite frankly as an agronomist too, when we're talking to farmers, our job is to figure out, well, how many insects are there? Are they harmful? What stage are they at? And is it going to pay to get them under control now? Or is it just kind of a little nuisance issue that's no real big deal and not going to cost us a lot of money? But understanding the life cycle of each individual bug is really key to that.
Well, understanding the life cycle of our weed of the week is going to be important too. We'll show you how to stop this tough weed later in the show.